had to come down and make this video because I was in the middle of doing research on my Janis Joplin video that's going to be coming up, and I saw that she used to carry around an Autoharp in her backpack when she went to college, just in case anybody had to like spontaneously break out into song. She could bust out her Autoharp like at a moment's notice. And so like I've done it myself, and I've known other people that have done it who've carried around like guitars to class, and just like everywhere we went, I used to do that, but an Autoharp. And then I realized, like, do I even know what an Autoharp is? Have I ever seen one? Have I ever mic'd one? Have I even heard what it sounds like? Or like, really, just in general, what in the hell is this instrument? Questions that I had about the Autoharp. How big is it? I mean, it looks big, but you have to be able to fit in a backpack. So like, what are its dimensions? What is it? Is its construction? Do they make them anymore? Can you get one used still, or does new anywhere? And then are there any videos of them online that I could watch people play them? Exactly how does it work? What is it made of? Are there any albums that it was used on where I could hear it and hear examples of it and be like, oh, right, I've heard that. And then how would you mic it? Like, what is the deal about this thing? I'm going to start just by reading from Wikipedia and see what we can find out here. I'm finding this out exactly the same time that I'm making this. So, an Autoharp is a string instrument in the zither family. Its distinctive structural feature is a set of bars, each with damping pads that mute the strings not belonging to a specific chord. A chord is played by pressing the corresponding bar against the strings with one hand while strumming them with the other. You're muting the strings that are not in the chord. Okay, so my thought right there is like, let me get my guitar. I'm in the middle of a guitar fiasco disaster right now, but just as an example, on a guitar, if you're gonna play a G chord, right? We're here. And so you're clamping down on the notes of the G chord, like this is a triad at the end of the guitar, and you've got the top string where you're pressing on G. You've got the second string where you're pressing on B. The third string, it would be open, so that's a D. The fourth string is open, and that's another G. The fifth string is open, and that's another B. And then the sixth string is open, and that is another G. So you've got G, B, D, G, B, G. It's like pressing down notes to make them involved in the chord that you want it to be in. But it sounds like from this description that the Autoharp is pressing down notes that you don't want to be in the chord. So that's like kind of interesting and opposite. So it says, the Autoharp body is made of wood. The soundboard generally features a guitar-like sound hole, and the top may be either solid wood or laminated construction. A pin block of multiple laminated layers of wood occupies the top and slanted edges and serves as a bed for the tuning pins, which resemble those used in pianos and concert zithers. On the edge opposite the top pin block is either a series of metal pins or a grooved metal plate, which accepts the lower ends of the strings. Directly above the strings, on the lower half of the top, are the chord bars, which are made of plastic, wood, or metal, and support felt or foam pads on the side facing the strings. These bars are mounted on springs and pressed down with one hand via buttons mounted to their top side. The buttons are labeled with the name of the chord produced when the bar is pressed against the strings and the strings strummed. The back of the instrument usually has 3 wooden, plastic, or rubber feet which support the instrument when it is placed back side down on a tabletop for playing in the traditional position. Strings run parallel to the top between the mounting plate and the tuning pins and pass under the chord bar assembly. Modern Autoharps often have 36 strings. What happens when do you have to change those? Do you have to change those? Where do you get those? I'm going to assume they would wear out or break at some point. With some examples having as many as 47 strings and rare 48 string models. They are strung in a semi-chromatic manner, which however is sometimes modified into either diatonic or fully chromatic scales. Okay, yeah, standard models have 12, 15, or 21 chord, but this thing's got to be huge. 21 chord bars available, providing a selection of major, minor, and dominant 7th chords. They are arranged for historical or systematic reasons. Yeah, no, see, this is another part that I didn't think of. If you only can dampen 1 chord at a time, right, okay. A piano, for example. So all of your keys are spread out in front of you in a line. You've got your lower keys down here, lower octaves, lower notes to your left, and it continues to go higher in pitch as you go towards the right. This is like a display. There are 88 keys on a piano, I believe, which would, how many, I know, right? Oh God, how many octaves would that be? How many octaves on a piano? Yes, 88 keys spanning 7.25 octaves. So basically what I'm getting at here in my thought process is that there's no way physically that an Autoharp could occupy that much space in terms of octaves if you're just pressing down on chords. How do you get, how low does it go? And then how high can it go? Because you're just gonna need a physically bigger space. Okay, I find this super interesting. So a typical 36-string chromatic Autoharp in its standard tuning has a 3.5 octave range from F to C. The instrument is not fully chromatic throughout this range, however, as this would require 44 strings. So basically what they're doing, this is at the lower, on the lower notes and the lower octaves, they're only using a certain amount of chords, and then when you get to the mid-range, then you're able to play chords throughout that middle range. I guess, it makes sense. That's what you're gonna use more in standard, if you're playing, but that's how they got around it. What I was thinking is they just left some stuff out as you get lower, and then also as you get higher on the spectrum, they've left some chords out up there. There are a number of gaps in the lowest octave, which functions primarily to provide bass notes in diatonic context. There's also a missing G sharp in the tenor octave. And then there's got to be varying different sizes of them, because it says the standard factory chord bar layout for a 12-chord Autoharp in 2 rows is, and then it lists all these chords, and then there's a 15-chord instrument and a 21-chord instrument. So they've got to be bigger. And this is exciting. There's an electric Autoharp. Until the 1960s, no pickups were available to amplify the Autoharp other than rudimentary contact microphones, which frequently unfortunately had a poor quality, tinny sound. This is what I was thinking, like, how would you mic this thing? I mean, looking at it, you know, obviously, like, the sound is resonating throughout the body of the instrument, and the sound is coming out of this hole. So you've got an escape path there. Although, you know, much like a guitar, what you would want to think about here is what kind of pick noise. Well, do you even use a pick with it? That's a question. Do you just play this with strumming with your hand? I mean, I imagine you could use a pick with it. What kind of noise would that make? Would it make a, like, screechy scraping noise like that you get with guitars? Or, I mean, I guess you're not sliding these bars around. Like that dampening sound, you know, what's that gonna sound like? Can you do finger picking on this? I mean, I imagine that you could. I think in terms of like chords, like just playing chords, I can see why somebody would carry this around, because it seems like you don't really have to think about like hand placement or anything. Like, you just press a button and strum it for whatever chord that you would like. Oh, here we go. The Evil One, a 1979 hard rock album by Roky Erickson and the Aliens, prominently featured the electric Autoharp of Bill Miller, which granted an unearthly edge to the music. Okay. Ooh, this is exciting. 1979 hard rock Autoharp. Oh my God. Okay. These are the things that like freaking make my day, man. We have to hear this immediately. Okay. A synthesized version of the Autoharp, the omnichord, was introduced in 1981 and is now known as the Q chord. Okay, here we go. Playing technique. As initially conceived, the Autoharp was played in the position of a concert zither. That is, where the instrument set flat on the table. There are 3 feet on the back for this purpose, and the flat edge of the instrument below the chord bars placed to the player's right. The left hand worked the chord buttons, and the right, like a guitar, right hand, well, depending on, you know, what dominant hand you have, and the right hand would strum the strings in the narrow area below the chord bars. Right hand strums were typically done with a plectrum, similar to a guitar pick made of shell, plastic, or compressed felt. A strum would usually activate multiple strings, playing the chord held down by the left hand. Partly because of this playing mode, the Autoharp came to be thought of as a rhythm instrument for playing chordal accompaniment. And even today, many still think of the instrument in that way. So that was my finger picking question, mainly a rhythm instrument. But new techniques have been developed, however, and modern players can play melodies on the instrument. Diatonic players, for example, are able to play fiddle tunes using open chording techniques, pumping the damper buttons while picking individual strings. That, I bet you that looks cool. Like, to see somebody like pressing the dampers and working that out at the same time. Skilled chromatic players can perform a range of melodies and even solos, including melody, chords, and complex rhythmic accompaniments. In the mid-20th century, performers began experimenting with taking the instrument off the table and playing it in an upright position, held in the lap, with the back of the instrument held against the chest. Cecile Knoll of the Grand Ole Opry, that's in Tennessee, I think I've been there, is usually credited as the first to adopt this playing style in public performance in the 1950s. In this position, the left hand still works the chord buttons, but from the opposite edge of the instrument, and the right hand still exudes the strums, but now, still now plays in the area above the chord bars, so kind of like that. Oh wait, look at this. No, okay. British singer-songwriter Corinne Bailey Rae regularly plays the Autoharp and composed the title track from her 2010 album The Sea on the Autoharp. I know her. I actually have that album. All right. I never noticed any sort of like difference with it, or like it didn't stick out to me, so I could go back and look at that too. Okay, so I am going to pull up this Autoharp hard rock album, obviously, and I am going to see if you can still get these things too. All right, first of all, this may be the greatest thing that has happened to me in a long time. Dude, I'm only through like the first song, but listen to these song titles, right? Two-headed dog, I think of demons, I walked with a zombie, don't shake me, Lucifer, Night of the Vampire. Oh my God, like where are we going? It says it's like garage psychedelic rock, right up my alley. Like, I am so excited. I haven't heard, anything past like a couple of minutes. I haven't heard an Autoharp, but like, do I care? Oh my God. See, this is why, like, it's a rabbit hole. Before I continue down this hole of psychedelic awesomeness, by the way, awesome guitar solos are happening on this album. I'm excited about that. I want to just continue along, not getting distracted for a minute. So my question was, are Autoharps still being made, and can you get them new? So I'm looking at ChatGPT for this just to see what this says. And it says, yes, new Autoharps are still being made and you can buy them new today. The manufacturer is primarily Oscar Schmidt. A range of acoustic and electric models that are available for purchase online and in some music shops. So we've got, it just pulled up, pictures of Guitar Center, Sam Ash, the Autoharp store. Let's see, it's got like a basic budget friendly 15 chord Autoharp. So these things are about like $500 new. It looks like, a range $450, $550 depending. And now I'm looking up people playing these. A lot of people are playing this. I don't know. I've never, I've done a lot of live sound and a lot of weird and interesting and standard instruments. I've never seen anybody play this in person, which is surprising. But look, here's Dolly Parton. We've got to watch that one. June Carter Cash, maybe they did mention banjo players taking this and being able to play. Yeah, it really can transcend genres if we've got it in psychedelic rock also. This looks like classical music. Somebody's playing. Man, I gotta get one of these. Everybody's, that I'm seeing, at least scrolling through these YouTube videos, they're all playing it upright. Oh no, here she's playing it sitting on her lap like that. Man, I am watching this video of Dolly Parton play this thing, and for one thing, Dolly Parton is a treasure. She's amazing. She is playing this thing with 6-inch fingernails. Yeah, she is strumming. I wonder if she's using her fingernails as part of the strum, or if she's actually using her fingertips underneath it. That's that's my first thought. But she's incredibly talented. And yeah, she's strumming the top part, dum, 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 and then chording along with it. It sounds beautiful. Wow, I am blown away. Right now I'm watching somebody called Karen, I believe if this is an Irish last name, it's pronounced Miller, Irish Autoharp solo, and she is both strumming the tops of these strings and finger picking the higher notes at the same time as she strums. I can see how this instrument lends itself to country, bluegrass, folk, sort of, I mean, it's got a very like lush, it's a gorgeous instrument. It's got a lush quality. It could be like the Celtic folk, like Renaissance fair going on. I mean, I'm interested in how they incorporated it. I mean, you can incorporate anything into anything really, but it really does lend itself to like that old school country type of feel too. About the strings. So yes, it looks like if you need to change the strings on this, it's the same process as guitar really. You can, it's like add a peg at the end and then it's wrapped around and you string it through. It says that popping strings is like not really common. Breakage, changing Autoharp strings. Why they would pop, same thing. High tuning tension, rust corrosion, sharp edges at the bridge or nut, hard strumming, environmental changes. I wonder, how often this happens. The instructions that it has to change the string are like exactly the same thing. Pull it out, restring it through, wrap it towards the end. Wow. I'm watching somebody who's named Will Smith play Oh Holy Night on Autoharp. This is on YouTube, Autoharp-music. It is absolutely stunning. This instrument is just, as somebody said in the comments, it's dreamy. That's a perfect way to describe it. It's just heavenly. I mean, it's sort of got like this higher end, completely lush feel when you're strumming through like every voicing of a chord. I guess because it has so many strings, you can hit like every note in multiple octaves of it. What a beautiful instrument. What a great discovery. Not only do I want one now, that I'd have to learn how to play it, I suppose, but I just think it's awesome to be able to discover new things and new instruments and get new sounds out of something, So I'm really happy that I found this from exploring Janus. One thing always leads to the next. I'm gonna go now. I love how people have like an incredible variety of takes on this instrument. It just goes to show that creativity knows no bounds and, everything is exactly what you make of it. To Autoharps!